Good evening. We are discussing now industrial effluents. In previous class, we were discussing about that water pollution. Water pollution means addition of factors or substances into the water. Then it became a change of quality of water. Then it leads to unfit for human usage. That is nothing but water pollution. So these water pollution, main reasons for water pollution, domestic sewage. In last class we were discussing about that. Now come to point, industrial effluents. Industrial effluent means the wastewater come from industries like petroleum industries or paper manufacturing, metal extraction or processing, chemical manufacturing, etc. So the wastewater come from the industries. So it often contains toxic substances. So wastewater when released from industry, it often contains toxic substances and heavy metals. Heavy metals such as mercury, cadmium, copper, lead, etc. These are all heavy metal. So here, how can we consider these are all heavy metal? The element with the density greater than 5 gram per centimeter cube. The element with the density greater than 5 gram per centimeter, which one having? Those are all elements are heavy metals. Example, mercury, cadmium, copper, lead, etc. Sometimes even theory question, define heavy metal. How can you say heavy metal? How can you say mercury, cadmium, copper, heavy metals? That element with a density greater than 5 gram per centimeter cube. So that's why we call it is a heavy metals. Then some organic compounds also released from the industrial wastewater. These are all generally industrial waste. So then, what are the effects of industrial waste? So then effects. First one, biomagnification. What's meant by biomagnification? So accumulation of toxicants such as mercury DDT. Accumulation of toxicants, mercury DDT at a successive trophic level of food chain. Means some of the pollutants, non-dissolved materials in the water, non-dissolved pollutants enters into the ecosystem. That is called a bioaccumulation. Bioaccumulation of non-degradable pollutants enters into the food chain and it can transfer from one trophic level to another trophic level. One trophic level to another trophic level is called biomagnification. So, how sir it is sir? So, a non-degradable pollutant is nothing but it's not metabolite, it's not excrete. The organism cannot metabolite or cannot excrete the toxicant. So it is passed to the next trophic level. So if they are degraded into they are not degraded in water. They are degraded into fat soluble. Means fats only they are soluble. So that's why they can transfer from one trophic level to or another trophic level. That process is called biomagnification. For example, DDT, dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane, present in the water, which is not dissolved in water. It can travel, it can pass on to the phytoplanktons. Then phytoplanktons to zooplanktons, zooplanktons to small fish to big fish eaten by the birds. So from one trophic level to another trophic level, the concentration of this non-degradable pollutant is increased. So they can pass one trophic level to another trophic level. That process is biomagnification. So this phenomena is well known for mercury and DDT. So biomagnification will seen in a DDT and mercury how it is transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level in food chain. That I will explain through the document. You just look it on the screen. Just concentrate. Yeah, you look it on the screen. We are discussing now biomagnification. Biomagnification, just now I had given the definition. Accumulation of toxicants at successive trophic levels of food chain. For example, mercury DDT. So these mercury and DDT toxicants cannot metabolized by organisms or not excrete these toxicants. So it is passed on to the next trophic levels. So how it is passed on to next trophic level? Producer to zooplankton to small fishes to large fishes eaten by the birds. It can travel one trophic level to another trophic level. During passed on from one trophic level to another trophic level, the concentration is increasing. So concentration is increasing. You see in the left side column also, generally a DDT, for example biomagnification of DDT in aquatic food chain when we taken, so the DDT present in the water 0.03 ppb. Ppb means parts per billion. So when 0.003 ppb is present in water, then it can transfer from water to zooplankton. Water to zooplankton, then concentration is increasing 0.04 ppm, means parts per million. Then zooplankton to small fishes. So when zooplanktons are eaten by small fishes, the concentration of DDT is increased in the small fish up to 0.5 ppm. Then small fish eaten by the large fish, then DDT concentration increases up to 2 ppm. Then large fish eaten by the birds, then DDT concentration increases up to 25 ppm. This is nothing but one trophic level to another trophic level. These toxicants when passed on one trophic level to another trophic level, their concentration, toxicant concentration is increased. This process is known as biomagnification. Mainly, sir, when we increases this concentration, then what happens, sir? This DDT dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane, it disturb the calcium metabolism in birds. Then which causing thinning of eggshell and their premature breaking. It's caused decline in birds population. So DDT mainly disturb the calcium metabolism in birds. Not only that, then it is a leading thinning of eggshell and premature breaking. When premature breaking happen, then no bird population will comes. So then bird population will be decrease. Next concept, eutrophication. What's meant by eutrophication? Eutrophication means natural aging of lake. Natural aging of lake by nutrient enrichment is called eutrophication. Natural aging of lake by nutrient enrichment is called eutrophication. You know, everyone having how lifespan is there, like that every river, every lake having some lifespan. So the natural aging of lake by nutrient enrichment is called eutrophication. Here there are two types of eutrophications are there. One is nothing but natural eutrophication, and another one is man-made or accelerated eutrophication. First one we will see natural eutrophication. Natural means naturally they are turns into, naturally pond or a lake turns into soil. How it happen, we will see here. In young lake, water is a cold and clear. For example, you observe the diagram in left side. In young lake, water is a cold and clear. With the time, streams means some flows will comes. So then streams drains into the lake, introduce nutrients like nitrates and phosphates. When during the streams, nitrates and phosphate introduced in the lake. When nitrates and phosphates are introduced in the lake, it is increase the lake's fertility. When lake's fertility is increases, the plants and animals grows rapidly. When plants and animals are grows rapidly, then organic and organic remains are deposited on the lake bottom. So then lake is slowly grows shallower and warmer than with warm water organism. Then marsh plants take root in the shallows and fill the original lake basin. Eventually it becomes land. So simply that is nothing but book information. We will try to understand when you see the left side before or after. Before left side you can take, that is the one lake, nana. So the lake is a very clear and clean and cold water. But during streams time, nitrates and phosphate introduced in that. When nitrates and phosphate introduced in that, that's nothing but increase the fertility of a lake. When increase the fertility of lake, then automatically plants and animals are growing very rapid. Then organic matter is deposited in there. Then plants, animals, organic matter all deposited. Then slowly the lake water, the water will be decreased. The water decreases, then it is semi-solid condition will come. Slowly the lake turns into soil. That is nothing but eutrophication. So natural process, I mean streamings, due to the natural process, due to the streams, natural process, nothing but streams. The natural, due to the natural process, nothing but streams, the lake is converted or becomes land. That is nothing but eutrophication, natural eutrophication. Next, cultural or accelerated eutrophication. Cultural or accelerated eutrophication. This is nothing but man-made. How man-made are? Depending on the climate, depending on the size of lake, other factors also included. The eutrophication may span thousands of years. Before going to the cultural and accelerated eutrophication, natural eutrophication, it's depending upon the climate, it depends upon the size of lake and other factors also. The eutrophication may span thousands of years. So these are all factors also causing eutrophication. But accelerated or a cultural eutrophication. Accelerated or cultural eutrophication means due to human activities, the pollutants like effluents from industries and homes accelerate the eutrophication. So from industries, the effluents released into the water. Then when the effluents are released into the water, the nitrates and phosphates are when come into the water due to the human activities, then automatically the fertility of the lake is increases. Then when fertility of lake is increases, then automatically due to the presence of nitrate and phosphates, the fertility is increases. Then overstimulate the growth of algae. So due to the presence of nitrate and phosphate, then it is a permit for overgrowth of algae. When overgrowth of algae, it causes unsightly scum, unpleasant odors. Then drops of the water, dissolved oxygen decreases. Then it leads to death of other organisms. When uncontrolled algae due to the presence of nitrate and phosphates, then dissolved oxygen immediately decreases here. Then when dissolved oxygen decreases, other organism death here. Then all matters will be a semi-solid condition. Then it is fastly lake converted into soil. So when fastly lake becomes land due to human activities, due to the presence of nitrates and phosphates, that is nothing but accelerated or cultural eutrophication. You can see here the eutrophication, industrial waste I had given. Next, thermal wastewater, heated wastewater or thermal wastewater. So the wastewater released from thermal means electricity generating units, thermal power plants, eliminate the organism sensitive to high temperature. So when the water released from the thermal power plants, it eliminates the organism sensitive to high temperature. For example, I was given that trouts, Daphnia, these are sensitive to the high temperature. So sensitive to water pollution. So they are not going to reproduce. So that are very, very important. Some organisms are very sensitive to high temperature. They are going to eliminate by this wastewater which is released from thermal power plants. So it may enhance the growth of plants and fish in extremely cold areas, but only after causing damage to indigenous flora and fauna. Means of thermal water, whatever released wastewater from thermal or electricity generating units, it causing death of the other organisms or causing death of the other plants or flora or fauna, whatever that, then it is nothing but effects of wastewater from the heated or thermal. See here, we are discussing about industrial waste. So industrial waste or the wastewater released from industries. So then it having heavy metals. I told the heavy metals, cadmium, lead, arsenic, mercury, etc. So for example, these heavy metals also causing some diseases. For example, methyl mercury causing Minamata disease in fishes. It was first reported in 1952 in Japan. So chances of question, methyl mercury causing which of the following disease? Minamata disease. So Minamata disease in fishes first reported in which year? 1952. In which country? Japan. This is a Minamata disease. Cadmium, one more heavy metal, cadmium causing Itai disease. Itai means it's causing pains at the joints. So Itai disease, such as arsenic, then different elements also causing different type of diseases. So these are nothing but industrial effluents. You have any doubts, you may chance to ask. See here. Thank you.